Saan natin aabot kahit nasan ka man? Sa gitna ng palubok na panahon, kahatid sila kaakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tak ang pagkakato. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo, Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Makinig, manood na sa Teleradyo. Makinig, manood na sa Teleradyo. Nananabik
A man who seeks knowledge is wise. So as we feed our body, let us feed our mind twice. This is Ma'am Mildred, and together, let us multiply our knowledge as we explore the world of general mathematics. We have another fun and interesting learning experience for you today on Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malolenyo. So today we will learn and talk about exponential functions. But first, let us recall some of the rules of exponents that we have learned from our algebra classes. So I will be presenting few equations and you just have to tell whether the equation is true or false. You just have to type in true if the equation is correct and false if not on our comment section. So I will give you 5 seconds for each equation. Are you ready? Great, let's start. So for the first one, we have a raised to 0 equals 1. Is this true or false? Type in your answers on our comment box. Okay, we have a raised to 0 equals 1. Is that true or false? Okay, time is up. This one is true because any number raised to 0 is always equal to 1. Next, number 2. A raised to negative n equals 1 over n raised to a. Is this true or false? Type in your answers. Okay, you have 5 seconds for that. Okay, time is up. This one is false. Why? Because an expression raised to a negative exponent is the inverse of its base. Therefore, this should be a raised to negative n equals 1 over a raised to n. Okay. Next, third equation, we have here a raised to x times a raised to y equals a raised to x plus y. Is this true or false? You have another 5 seconds. Okay, time is up. This one is true. Why? Because when multiplying two expressions having the same base, we simply get the product by writing the base and then raising it with the sum of its exponents. So that one is true. How about this one? A raised to x equals, or a raised to x over a raised to y equals a raised to x minus y. Is this true or false? You have 5 seconds. Okay, your 5 seconds is over. Now let's see the correct answer. Okay, this one is true. That is because the quotient of exponential expressions having the same base is equal to the base raised to the difference of its exponents. Okay. Next, we have a raised to x raised to y equals a raised to xy. Is this true or false? Type in your answers. You have 5 seconds to do that. Okay, time is up. Let's see the correct answer. So this one is true. Why? That is because when an exponential expression is raised with another exponent, we simply copy the base and then we multiply the exponents. Okay. Next one, we have AB raised to x equals A raised to x, B raised to x. Again, is this true or false? You have 5 seconds for this item. Okay, time is up. This item is true. What is the reason behind that? So when we are raising a quantity to a number, all of the terms inside the quantity will be raised to the power of the said number. Meaning, we have to distribute the exponent to each term inside the parentheses. Okay, so next one. We have here a over b raised to x equals a raised to x over b. Is this true or false? You have another 5 seconds. Okay, what will be the answer for number 7? This one is, okay, this one is false. Bakit kaya? So as we have mentioned from our previous example, all terms inside the parenthesis will be raised to the exponent outside the parenthesis. So therefore, in this item, we have to distribute x on both the numerator and denominator. That is why they should be a raised to x over b raised to x. So, did you get everything correctly? Nakuha niyo ba lahat ng sagot dun sa 7 items natin? If that's the case, you are very excellent. So, now let's proceed to our topic for today. In this lesson, you will be able to demonstrate understanding of the key concepts of exponential functions and to accurately formulate and solve real-life problems involving exponential functions. So those are the content standards and performance standards that we are targeting for today. Now for our objectives for today's discussion. So at the end of this teleradio session, you should be able to first represent real life situations using exponential functions. Second, distinguish the difference between exponential function, exponential equation, and exponential inequality. And third one, we have to solve exponential equations and inequalities. So these are the most essential learning competencies that we will cover today. I hope that you're in the most comfortable and conducive atmosphere at your home so that we can achieve these goals. So for today, we will focus on exponential functions, equations, and inequalities. From our previous topics, we have learned the nature of rational functions, right? And how to solve them. So in this lesson, we will ponder the question, what if the function is used as an exponent? What will happen if our polynomial functions are on the exponent or are used as exponents? So with that, let us define exponential functions. So when we say exponential functions, these are defined as a function of the form f of x is equal to b raised to x or y is equal to b raised to x, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. So in this format, b is our base and x is our exponent. So basically, it is like a normal function, but the variable is in the exponent. And take note also that the base b should be greater than 0, meaning to say all values of our base should be positive. This is because negative integers change their signs when you raise it to different exponents. Say, for example, if we raise negative 1 with an even number, the answer would be positive. But if we raise negative 1 into an odd number, the answer will be negative. So in this scenario, the function has no continuity and will diverge. Also, aside from our base should be positive or greater than 0, the base should not be equal to 0. Why is that? Do you have any idea? So that is because if we have a base 1 and we raise it to any number, the answer will always be equal to 1. So there will be no sense for us to represent those exponential functions having 1 as their base. So, ayan. For examples of exponential functions, we have f of x is equal to 1.23 raised to x. We also have y is equal to 500 raised to 3x. These two are both functions. As we said in our definition earlier, f of x can also be written as y. And lastly, we have the example f of x is equal to 5 plus 1/3 raised to x minus 1. So these are all exponential functions because it shows relationship between two variables, which are f of x and x, or in our second example, y and x. Ayan. So as you can see, each of these examples satisfies the definition of exponential functions that we have discussed earlier, wherein the base is greater than 0. So ano yung mga base natin dito? These are all greater than 0 or positive. And the base is not equal to 1. So we don't have any base here that equates to 1. Okay. Also, we can see all the variables on our exponent. Now, let's proceed with another key terminology that we are going to tackle in exponential functions. So we have here the natural exponential function. So this is defined by the function f of x is equal to e raised to x. So this letter e here is called the Euler's constant. So we call this the Euler's constant. And it has a value of approximately 2.71828. So, from the name itself, Euler's constant, it is considered as a mathematical constant. Kagaya siya ng pi, di ba? We have pi, which is 3.1416. Yung Euler's constant, which is E, is also a mathematical constant. It has a constant value, which is 2.71828. Okay, so that is natural exponential function. So, ibig sabihin, when you see e as the base of a function in exponential function, we call that natural exponential function. So, for example, we have f of x is equal to 2 over 9 e raised to x plus 1. And we also have y equals 1.08 times e raised to x. And lastly, we have f of x is equal to 10 plus e raised to 2x. So these are all natural exponential functions since it involves the Euler's constant. Okay. So next, we also encounter here exponential expressions. So similar to rational functions, exponential functions also contain exponential expressions. It is an expression of the form a times b raised to x minus c plus d, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. So same as with exponential functions, our base should not be equal to 1 and should be greater than 0 or positive. So these expressions are parts that we see in each side of the equations and inequality. Itong mga exponential expressions yung nakikita natin on the sides of equations and inequalities. So in English, we can refer to exponential expressions as phrases. Tapos yung exponential equations and inequalities, we can refer to that as the sentence. So meaning to say yung phrase are parts of the sentence. Parang kagaya dito sa math, yung exponential expression are parts of equations and inequalities. Okay? So let's have some examples of exponential expressions. We have here 3 times 10 raised to x minus 2, 2020 raised to x over 2, 50 raised to x minus 1. So these are all exponential expressions. And now let's move on to exponential equations. So to define, and as mentioned earlier, exponential expressions can be found in both equations and inequalities. So an exponential equation is simply a mathematical equation that involves exponential expressions, and exponential inequality, on the other hand, is an inequality involving exponential expressions as well. So for us to understand those concepts, let us have some examples to visualize. For exponential equation, we have 3 times 10 raised to x minus 2 is equal to 100. So we have here the exponential expression as this one on this side. And it became an equation when we equate it with another value. So this is what makes an expression an equation. And also we have an example, 81 is equal to 3 raised to x minus 9. And lastly, we have the example, 1.1 raised to x equals 1 over 100. So these are all exponential equations. For the next examples, let's take examples for exponential inequalities. So we have here 3 times 10 raised to x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 100. 7 raised to x is less than 189. And 200 is greater than 10 plus 5 raised to x. So these are the examples of exponential equations and inequality. Now, I want you to compare these examples with each other. So what similarities and differences can be observed from here? Can you observe some similarities and differences between the two? So type in your answers on our comment box. I will give you 10 seconds for that. You may type in your answers. What have you noticed between the two? Are there any differences and similarities between exponential equation and inequality? Okay. Thank you for tuning in to our teleradio session today. I'm seeing students from 11 STEM F, 11 STEM A, 11 ABMA. We also have students from UMS F, from Arts and Design, of course. So yan, kompleto naman pala. I can see students then from FBS. Okay, so time is up. Some of the observations that we can get from here are the following. So both of them contains exponential expressions, right? They both contain exponential expressions. Also, only one variable is involved, which in our case here is the variable x. As you can see, kahit saan kayo tumingin dito, isang variable lang ang makikita natin from each example. And also, we can observe that the variables are only seen on the exponent. So they are used as exponents. So those are the similarities between exponential equation and inequality. Now, we can also observe a particular difference between the two. So what is that? In exponential equations, so exponential equations makes use of the equality symbol, right? Have you noticed that? So all of our examples for exponential equations makes use of the equal sign. On the other hand, in exponential inequality, we make use of the inequality symbol, of course. So we have here greater than or equal to, less than, greater than. Also, we can use less than or equal to and not equal to represent exponential inequalities. Okay. So have you noticed those? Now, let's check your understanding using this activity. So in this activity, you have to determine whether the given is an exponential function, exponential equation, or exponential inequality. For each item, I will give you 5 seconds to type in EF for exponential function, EE for exponential equation, and EI for exponential inequality. So ready na kayo? Don't forget to type in your name as well, no, and your section with your answers. So if you are ready, let's begin this activity. For number 1, we have this given. 125 raised to 2x equals 25 raised to x minus 1. Is that EF, EE, or EI? Your timer starts now. Okay, time is up. So this one is this EF, EE, or EI? Okay, this one is EE. This is an exponential equation. Bakit kaya? That is because it involves an equation containing exponential expressions, and we only have, or only one variable is involved in this equation. Next item, we have 1/3 raised to x minus 1 is less than or equal to 81. Is that EF, EE, or EI? Your timer starts now. Okay. Very good yung mga nagsagot ng EE sa una. How about this one? Is this EF, EE, or EI? Okay, let's find out the correct answer. The correct answer here is EI. This one is an exponential inequality. Why? That is because this is an inequality that involves exponential expressions. Okay? So that's it for number 2. Very good yung mga nagsagot ng EI. Aragona, Ian, Tristan, you are correct. How about number 3? Our given is f of x is equal to 1.25 raised to 0.3x minus 9. Is this EF, EE, or EI? Number 3, is this EF, EE, or EI? Your timer starts now. Okay, so let's find out your answer for number 3, if it is correct. For number 3, this one is an EF or exponential function. So bakit kaya to exponential function? That is because it shows relationship between two variables, which in our case here are f of x and x. Okay. So next number 4. So for number 4, here is our given. 9 raised to 2 over 3x equals 7 over y. 7y, sorry. Let me repeat. 9 raised to 2 over 3x equals 7y. Is this EF, EE, or EI? Type in your answers. Okay, your timer starts now. Ano kaya yung number 4? Exponential function, exponential equation, or exponential inequality? Okay, let us find out if your answers are correct. Number 4 is EF. Okay, this one is exponential function as well. That is because, kagaya nung kanina, it shows relationship between two variables which are x and y. So, kapag ganun ang case, the given will be considered as exponential function. And we have number 5. The given is 1,000 is less than or equal to 10 plus 0.25 raised to x squared plus 1. Is this EF, EE, or EI? Type in your answers. Okay, let's see if your answers are correct for number 5. Number 5 is EI. Okay, this one is an exponential inequality since it contains exponential expressions and it is an inequality. Okay, so did you find the activity easy? Now that you have mastered the basics concerning exponential functions, equations, and inequalities, we can now move on to our next goal for today, which is solving exponential equations and inequalities. So, how do we solve exponential equations and inequalities? First, we will equip ourselves with the knowledge of its properties. So, we have this one-to-one property of exponential equations, which states that for any real number x and b, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1, if x sub 1 is not equal to x sub 2, then b raised to x sub 1 is also not equal to b raised to x sub 2. So conversely, if b raised to x sub 1 is equal to b raised to x sub 2, then x sub 1 is equal to x sub 2. So this means that to solve exponential equations and inequalities, the base coefficients of the exponential expressions on each side of the equation or inequality should be the same. So meaning to say, kailangan pareho yung value ng b natin or ng base. Then we can solve for the value of its variables by equating the exponents to each other. Then when we have the bases similar na, we can now equate the exponents with each other and then solve for the value of x. So for us to understand this concept better, let us have an example. Okay, we are going to solve the equation 3 raised to 2x plus 1 is equal to 81. So let's solve this one. The first thing that we must do is we have to rewrite the bases into similar ones. So kailangan magkaroon tayo ng parehong base dito. And we all know that 81 has factors as 9 times 9 and also 9 has its factors as 3 times 3. So meaning to say we can write 81 as 3 raised to ilang beses nating minultiply yung 3 with its self, we have 4. Yan. Meaning to say 81 can also be written as 3 raised to 4. So let's do that. We have 3 raised to 2x plus 1 equals 3 raised to 4. So in this case, we already have similar bases, which is 3. Therefore, we can now equate the exponent with each other. So we will have 2x plus 1 equals 4. Yan. We just copied the exponent and equate it with each other. And from here, we can solve the value of x. That is 2x equals 4 transpose positive 1. That will be negative 1. So we will have 2x equals 3. We can divide both sides by 2 to get the value of x. Therefore, x will be 3 over 2. So that's simple. Next, let's have another example for solving exponential equations. So in this case, we have the bases 4 and 32. So if you will think of 4, of an exponent of 4, wala tayong mahanap na exponent ng 4 that will give us 32. Ibig sabihin, we have to think of another base that we will use here. So we know that 4 can also be written as 2 squared. 32 can also be written as 2 raised to 5. So in this case, we can have a common base for these bases. So let's rewrite this one. 4 can be written as 2 squared, and then we have to copy the original exponents. That is x squared plus 3 over 2 equals 32 can be written as 2 raised to 5 raised to x. So in this case, we have similar bases now, which is 2. Now we can rewrite our exponents and equate it with each other. So we will have 2 times x squared plus 3 over 2 equals 5 times x. So we just rewrote our exponents. And then from here, let's solve for the value of x. Let's distribute 2 on each term inside the parentheses. So we will have 2 times x squared is 2x squared plus 3 equals 5x. So saan nanggaling yung 3? 2 times 3 over 2. And then, as you can see, our resulting equation will be a quadratic equation. So we all know that we can solve for the values of x in quadratic equations by factoring method. So we can do that if we rewrite this in its standard form. So that will be 2x squared minus 5x. We transpose 5x to the other side plus 3 so that we may equate it with 0. And from here, you're going to get the factors. So can you type in the factors on our comment section? What will be the factors of 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0? Okay, so if you will factor this one, we can get the factors of 2x squared as 2x and x, and then the factors of 3 as 3 and 1. So, kailangan nating mag-decide para natin makuha yung negative 5 as the middle term. So, we can do that if we multiply 2x with negative 1 and we add that with the product of negative 3 and x. Okay, tama ba yung factors ko? Now let's proceed. Since we already have the prime factors, we can now solve for the values of x here. That is by equating each factor with 0. So we will have 2x minus 3 equals 0. Solving for x, we have to transpose negative 3 and divide both sides by 2. So we will have x equals 3 over 2. So that is our first value of x. The second one is x minus 1 equals 0. So the value of x here will be positive 1. Okay. So did you get that, guys? Nasundan ba ang discussion about solving exponential equations? Okay, in this case, we will now move on to exponential inequalities. So this is the property of exponential inequality. For any real number x and b, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1, ayan, we have to follow two different cases. So before we can compute for the value of x in inequalities or exponential inequalities, we have to assess on which case it will fall. So we have this first case. If b or our base is greater than 1, then the exponential function y is equal to b raised to x is increasing for all values of x. So this means that b raised to x is greater than b raised to y if and only if x is greater than y. So ano ibig sabihin nun? Yung expression daw natin or exponential expression natin on the left side will be greater than the exponential equation or expression on the right side kung yung exponent nung nasa left side ay mas malaki sa exponent nung nasa right side. So that is the first case. For our second case, if our base is between 0 and 1 yung value, then the exponential function y is equal to b raised to x is decreasing for all values of x. So this means that b raised to x is greater than b raised to y if and only if x is less than y. So ano ibig sabihin nito? Yung expression natin on the left side will be greater than the expression on the right side if yung exponent ng nasa left side ay mas maliit sa exponent ng nasa right side. So, if you have noticed, dito sa una nating case, hindi nagbago yung inequality symbol natin. Tama ba? Hindi nagbago yung inequality symbol natin. On the other hand, for the second case, if our base is between 0 and 1, meaning to say, proper fraction yung ginamit nating base, we have to change the direction of our inequality symbol. So para mas maintindihan natin yan, let's have this example. So we are going to solve the inequality 25 raised to x plus 1 is less than or equal to 125 raised to x minus 1. So similar to our steps in solving exponential equations, we still have to rewrite the bases into similar ones. So in this case, we can rewrite 25 as 5 squared. Tama ba? 5 squared is also equal to 25. And then we rewrite the original exponents. Copy muna yung ating inequality symbol. Then we rewrite 125 having a base of 5. So that is also equal to 5 cubed. Is that right? Okay, and then we copy the original exponent, which is x minus 1. So from here, sabi dun sa definition natin kanina ng property, kailangan nating i-assess kung saan magfo-fall yung base natin. If our base is greater than 1 ba or between 0 and 1 yung value. So in our case here, our base is 5, meaning to say it is greater than 1. And that means that we are not going to change the direction of our inequality symbol. So, ibig sabihin nun, we can rewrite 2 times x plus 1 and then copy lang yung inequality symbol natin na less than or equal to. Then, we copy the exponent of the other side. That is 3 times quantity x minus 1. Okay, so from here, let us solve for the value of x. Let's distribute 2. We will have 2x plus 2 is less than or equal to, distribute 3 again. So we will have 3x minus 3. So solving further, let's rewrite all terms having x variable on one side and yung terms without the variable x on the other side. So we will have 2 transpose negative 3, that will be positive 3, is less than or equal to 3x transpose 2x minus 2x. Okay, so let's simplify this one. 2 plus 3 is 5, is less than or equal to 3x minus 2x is x. So this will be our solution for this exponential inequality. And also, we can represent this using set notation. So we are looking for values of x that are greater than or equal to 5. Meaning to say, in set notation, our smallest value or the smallest value that the x variable can take here is 5. So meaning to say, from 5 up to positive infinity yung pwedeng i-take na value ni x that will satisfy this inequality. So, is 5 included in our solution? Yes, it is included since we are assuming na yung value ng x ay greater than or equal to 5. So, in that case, we will use a brace. And for the infinite value, we will use a parenthesis. So, that is the solution for this inequality. Now let's move on to our next example. So we are going to solve the inequality 1/3 raised to x plus 7 is greater than 1 over 27 raised to 2x. So same procedures, we are going to rewrite the bases into similar ones. So we can rewrite 1 over 27 as 1/3 raised to 3. Tama ba? That is also equal to 1/3 raised to 3. But before that, let's copy first the other side of the inequality. So, ayan. We have here 1 over 27 can also be written as 1/3 raised to 3. Don't forget to multiply it with the original exponent, which is 2x. So now, applying the property of exponential inequality, we have to assess on which case it falls. So our base here is 1/3, which we know that this value is between 0 and 1. Is that right? Meaning to say, if we rewrite our exponents, we have to change the direction of our inequality symbol. So that will be x plus 7 is less than 3 times 2x. Okay? So simplifying it further, we will have x plus 7 is less than 3 times 2x is 6x. Transpose x on the other side, we will have 7 is less than 6x minus x. So this one is equal to 5x, which is greater than 7. And then we divide both sides by 5. Therefore, the value of x is all values that are uh, greater than 7 over 5. So ulitin natin. To solve for this inequality, we are assuming or we are looking for values of x that are greater than 7 over 5. So in set notation, we can rewrite that as 7 over 5 up to positive infinity. Okay, is that right? So this time, hindi kasama sa solution natin yung 7 over 5. That is why we are going to use parentheses. Okay. So are you following, guys? Very good yung mga nagsasagot, no, while I'm answering as well. So that's a good job when you are answering on your own together with your teachers. Now let's move on to another example. So in some cases kasi, we may solve exponential inequalities using two different solutions. That is when our given involves a fraction on one side and whole number on the other side. So, tingnan natin kung paano natin gagawin yung dalawa na yun. Let us first solve this using the first solution. Ayan. We know that we can yung tutularan natin or we can use 2 para whole number yung magiging base natin. So let us first use 1/2 as our base. Ayan, using base 1/2. So in this case, we have to rewrite 4 as 1/2. And we can do that by, so we know that 4, dito muna tayo, we know that 4 is also equal to 2 squared. And according to a law of exponent, yung negative exponent, we can rewrite this by into a fraction by getting the reciprocal of our base, which is 1/2, and raising it to the negative of our exponent. So we will have -2, meaning to say 4 can also be written as 1/2 raised to -2. They are also, they are just equal values. So let's do that here. We will have 1/2 raised to negative 2 times the quantity of 2x plus 1. So, wag niyo kakalimutan yun, no? Yung original exponent natin, kailangan nating i-multiply sa resulting new exponent ng base natin. So, now, meron na tayong similar bases. And we can now assess whether it falls on case 1 and case 2. So we have here 1/2, and we know that 1/2 is between the values 0 and 1, meaning to say we have to change the direction of our inequality symbol. So if we rewrite our exponents, this will be x is less than or equal to, pinalitan natin yung direction dahil between 0 and 1 yung value na to. So copy yung exponents on the other side. We have there negative 2 times 2x plus 1. So solving it further, we will have negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x and minus 2. So from here, solve natin yung value ng x. Transpose negative 4x, that will be positive 4x plus x is less than or equal to negative 2. And this is 5x is less than or equal to negative 2. We divide both sides by 5. Therefore, the value of x, or the values of x that we can take here, is all values that are less than or equal to negative 2 over 5. So in set notation, we can write that as, paano natin isusulat yun? We are looking for values of x na mas mababa sa or equal sa negative 2 over 5. Meaning to say, ang pinakamababang value na natin ay, or pinakamataas na value na natin ay negative 2/5. So ano ba yung mga value na mas mababa pa sa negative 2/5? Of course, yung mga value na papuntang negative infinity. And sabi natin included sa sagot yung negative 2/5, so we will use braces here. Okay, so that is the first solution that we can use to solve for this exponential inequality. Now let's try the second solution. So for solution B, we can use the base 2. So using base 2, let's solve this exponential inequality. So we can rewrite 1/2 as 2 raised to negative 1, tama ba? 1/2 is also equal to 2 raised to negative 1 raised to x is greater than or equal to 4 can also be written as 2 squared times the quantity 2x plus 1. So, similar na yung bases natin, we can now rewrite our exponents into inequality. So, we have here negative 1 times x. Ngayon, are we going to change the direction or not? Okay, for this case, we are not going to change the direction of the inequality since our base is greater than 1. So we are going to just copy that. Then we copy the exponents. We have here 2 times the quantity 2x plus 1. So let's simplify this one. Negative 1 times x is negative x is greater than or equal to, distribute 2 on each term inside the parenthesis. So we will have 4x plus 2. Solving for the value of x, we can transpose negative x and positive 2. So that will be negative 2 is greater than or equal to 4x plus x, which is equal to 5x. And on the other side, negative 2. So to solve for x, we divide both sides by 5. Therefore, x is all the values that are less than or equal to negative 2 over 5. So in set notation, we can rewrite this as, ayan, all values ng x na hinanap natin ay yung mga mas mabababa sa negative 2/5. Meaning to say, the highest value that we can take here is negative 2/5. And yung mga values na mas mababa sa 2/5 ay yung mga values na papunta sa negative infinity. So, this is included. We will use a brace. Okay. So, did you get that example? So, when you're solving this type of inequality, pwedeng pumili lang kayo ng isang solution. It's either you use the fractional base or the whole number base. So, it's up to you guys. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next slide. So, these are the things that you have to remember in this episode. So, the first one, you have to write the expressions on both sides with similar bases. Number two, always distribute the exponent of the new base to the existing exponent. Next, we have to check the solution. So how do we check if our solutions are correct? That is simply by evaluating the original equation using the values of x that we have obtained. And lastly, ayan. So, in representing the solution for exponential inequalities, we use the braces when the point value is included in the solution, and we use parentheses if not. So, we also use parentheses to denote values that are approaching positive and negative infinities. So, now it's time to get your math selfie on. This activity will put your competence into test. So I encourage everyone to take part and keep in mind that effective math learning requires constant practice and application. So I will be giving you 30 seconds for this problem. Let us start our math selfie for the day. So you are going to solve the equation 4 raised to x minus 1 equals 8 raised to x. You may type in your answers on our comment box. What will be the answer if you solve the equation 4 raised to x minus 1 equals 8 raised to x? So ano kayang magiging value ng x dito? Ayan. So, nakikita ko ang students from STEM G, UMS F. Meron tayong galing sa STEM K. Hello, Carl Benedict Bagisa. Start natin ang timer. Meron din from 11 ABME. Hi, Trisha Morante. Also from TVL Automotive. So we have there Troy Concepcion. So ano na kayang sagot? What will be the value of x when we solve the equation 4 raised to x minus 1 equals 8 raised to x? So let's see if your answers are correct. This one is an exponential equation, by the way. So to solve for this one, this will be our solutions. We can rewrite 4 as 2 squared and 8 as 2 cubed. So we can equate 2 times the quantity x minus 1 equals 3x, yung mga exponents natin. And then from there, we can solve for the value of x. So that is negative 2 equals 3x minus 2x, which is equal to negative 2 equals x. So meaning to say the value of x will be negative 2. Did you get that answer? Okay. So very good sa mga nakakuha ng sagot na to. Meaning to say, you have understood our discussion for today. So for your homework, ayan. I know that this day has been a productive day with you, Deltularians. You have mastered the key concepts of exponential functions today. So I will leave you with a set of problems as homework to encourage you to apply and retain the information that you have learned in this session. So for your homework, you may take a screenshot of this one. Okay. So that concludes our discussion. Math will be simple if you approaches it as a solution rather than a problem. Consider its significance in our daily lives and you will surely appreciate math. So don't focus on your difficulty in solving problems, but rather practice and achieve success in mathematics. Visit also your Google Classrooms for instructional materials and other activities to help you improve your math skills. Help us also improve our sessions in general mathematics by sending your feedback using this QR code. So you can scan the QR code flashed on your screen and also make it a habit to tune in to Teleradio Marcelo to ensure a fun and exciting day of learning. So thank you to our ever dynamic principal, Dr. Maria Victoria C. Vivo. Thank you, ma'am. To Ma'am Gladys Glo M. Bondoc, our ABM Math and Research Head, for always being there for us before, during, and after the broadcast. And to our technical directors from Teleradio Broadcasting Committee, thank you so much. Also to Sir Mark Isael Ocampo, our script writer for this session. And to my fellow teacher broadcaster, Ma'am Rhea Rose Almoguez, thank you so much also to you, our dear students, for your ongoing support in Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malolenyo. Once again, I am Ma'am Mildred and I'll see you on our next broadcast. God bless everyone. Bye!
Radyo is always at your service. Kaya naman, ang feedback mo, suggestions nyo ay mahalaga sa amin to improve our programs on air and online. Para alam ni teacher yung strengths as well as the things in your mind na mas makatutulong sa mas effective na pagkatuto sa teleradyo. Please take time to send your feedbacks via Teleradyo Mu, which you can access by scanning the QR code on the right or typing the URL provided here, bit.ly/3ORVAY9. One more, this time you follow. bit.ly/3ORVAY9. Kaya send your hashtag TBH o hashtag RT dito sa Teleradyo Mu kung saan ang feedback mo, suggestions nyo ay mahalaga sa teleradyo.
Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.